The year is 1999, Mashreq has just been released into the theaters, and Backstreet Boys have released their best-selling album to date, Millennium.
Backstreet Boys, I'm familiar.
Let's go specifically on July 1st. It's around midday and activities at Mashreq Bank located in Nairobi, Kenya are going on smoothly. Well, not for long. Armed men stormed in and demanded money. However, that is not what stole the headlines. The robbers then went on to sing Christian hymn songs as they stole valuables from customers before leaving with 500,000 Kenya shillings. The hostages were left stunned.
What happened? What happened?
It felt more like a prank than a robbery.
And it's because we're doing a bank robber prank.
But this was nothing compared to what would happen the next month.
What?
On the morning of 17th August, 6 armed men stormed in Mashreq Bank to execute one of the most ridiculous bank robberies in Kenyan history. Within a space of 2 months, Mashreq Bank was robbed twice. The robbery goes like this. At 6:15 a.m., 6 men arrived at the bank and managed to convince security guards who were already on the duty that they wanted to deliver a parcel for the day's watchman. As a guard opened the door to receive the parcel, one of the men took out a gun and ordered him into the bank. The robbers then stripped the guards off their uniform, put them on, and positioned themselves at the main door to wait staff to arrive. As staff entered the bank through the main door, they were met by 6 men, now in security guards' uniform, and the robbers would take their valuables, including watches, jewelry, and wallets. According to the bank's operation manager Njagi Makanga, when I arrived at the bank's entrance at around 8:45 a.m., a uniformed security man opened the door for me, and as usual, I said good morning to him. However, a shabby dressed man who was sitting on the customer's seats stood up, came towards me, and insisted on shaking my hand. When I resisted, the other 2 guards, who were now behind me, ordered me to do so while holding a gun to my head and threatened to kill me for defying the order. The 5 men at one point headed to the safe and left 1 man to watch over the banking staff, security guards, and customers. It was at that point when the man started to sing "Abide With Me," a Christian hymn song. What followed up is one of the best pieces of entertainment ever produced, and this is coming from a Kanye West fan.
You're kidding, right?
The other men then joined in and started singing like a band. One of the men even went ahead to use his gun as a guitar, and if that sounds bizarre, wait till you hear that the music got so good that the robbers even started clapping and jumping. And I know what you're thinking, they might have sounded terrible. Well, according to the victims, they actually had a good harmony. The Backstreet Boys may have been the biggest band of the year, but their performance would never top this of the Backstreet Boys.
Was that a joke? She's joking, right? Come on, tell me that was a joke.
In a bizarre move, the robbers invited the hostages to a party they were going to organize next week to celebrate the stolen money, and they even promised that they would take their time and go through the jewelry and return any that had sentimental value. To add the cherry on the top, they even went ahead to disclose the location where the party would be held. On their way out, they returned the 3,000 shillings they had stolen from one of the guards, who they said he looked poor and it was so ungodly if they robbed him. And calmly, they walked out of the bank and sped off in a white Nissan Sunny saloon. What is even more impressive is that the 3-hour bank robbery took place a mere 500 meters from the central police station. Not even the neighboring banks knew what was happening. The first alarm to report that there was a robbery came at 10:20 a.m. after the robbers had escaped.
911, what's your emergency?
The robbers this time made away with 9 million Kenya shillings, and the men were never caught. With that, let's get into the theories, which there are only 2. The first theory is that it was an inside job. By an inside job, we mean either one or few of the robbers were employees at the bank, or there was an employee at the bank who gave them hints. Here are a few reasons to support the theory. The robbers escaped at 9:15. What is interesting is that Vitalis Opinio, the security guards supervisor at Mashreq Bank, always made a routine check before the start of banking business at around that time. This makes you question, how did the robbers know the routine of the security guard? Not only that, the gunmen seemed to know each of the staff names and titles. Another interesting detail is that when the robbers demanded the keys to the safe, the robbers knew exactly who had the key. And if you find that interesting, wait until you hear they knew the amount of money that was supposed to be in the safe. Actually, reports say they looked disappointed when they found out the money was less than what they expected. Another point is they were too calm and confident during the heist. Keep in mind, the police station was a mere 500 meters away from the bank. It's as if they were rest assured that the police would not be alarmed. And then the final reason to support the theory is that 2 administration police who normally guarded the bank arrived 10 a.m. claiming no one had picked them in the morning as usual. Which begs the question, what happened to the person who usually picked them up? Was he in the plan, or was the 2 administration police also in the plan? Now let's get into the second theory, which is why it was not an inside job. The Mashreq bank had been robbed twice in a space of 2 months, and possibly by the same robbers, because in both incidents the robbers were singing. This is a clear indication that the bank had poor security. Secondly, with a good research, it might be hard but not impossible to know the staff's name, job titles and routines. As to why they were overly confident, Kenyan security was not the best at the time. In fact, from 1996, Kenya had been plagued with clinically executed bank robberies. In 1999 alone, there were over 30 bank robberies and only 13 failed, which was a drop from the previous year by 18%. As a matter of fact, the total amount robbed in 1998 was more than twice the total amount stolen in 1999. The Mashreq robbery was not even close to the biggest robbery of that year. In the same year, the Standard Chartered Bank located in Moi Avenue, Nairobi was robbed 96 million Kenya shillings within 5 minutes. If you want me to do a story on that, you can comment below. However, for now, the story remains unsolved.